Let me face these. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shah, Bahashim, Badash. Double honors to the elder apostle GMS who grew well. Salute you brothers pushing his word. And truth and sincerity experienced by Yahweh Shah. And shalom to you brothers and sisters growing in trust spirit by Yahweh Shah. Shalom to you too, right? I'm out here to prophesy the downfall of the wicked destructive kingdom known as Babylon the Great, Sodom and Gomorrah, Egypt, Rome, all those ancient empires balled up in one, controlled by Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, the devil that the Bible speaks of. I'm out here to got the elect of the nation of Israel, which consists of the Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans. Those are the true biblical Hebrew Israelites who's going to come back and serve Yahweh Shah and in truth and sincerity, right? So let's see what I got. The wind blowing kind of hard. Well, it is blowing hard out here today, you know. But see if we can get through it. Hopefully I don't have to move in the pocket down there, you know. But let's see what we can start off at. And I can't stand on that corner down there because that wind is coming around that corner like crazy. So, you know what I'm saying? So, we're going to start off with, let's see what we got. Hey, and y'all see what's going on in the world. It's all part of prophecy, man. It's all part of prophecy, brothers and sisters. That's what it is. It's part of prophecy, man. This world is falling apart, man. It's falling apart, and these things got to take place before the Lord come back. It got to take place, you know. And times are going to get harder and harder, you know, to function on this earth. As long as Esau, Edom ruling, it's going to get harder and harder before the Lord come back. So, I'm going to start in, let's see what I can get out of this. I'm going to start in 2 Thessalonians, right? This is 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 3. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come except that come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition. So we know that going into that falling away, and you go into defection, it goes in desertion of one's country. And then also, right, when you go down to the, which I didn't mention it, but I'm gonna bring this out too. It says, when you go down to the strong definition, right? When you go down to the strong definition, beneath those definitions, meaning falling away, defection, or apostasy, and then you go down, you got a strong definition. And when you go down there and look at that G647, right after that, you got defection, and then you got from the truth. So, what I want to add to that is, after 70 AD, right? After 70 AD, in their destruction concerning Israel, which is us, you had the 3 tribes over there, Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, in the 12 tribes, right? And after that, that destruction, 70 AD and beyond, that was the last time that we was in that land as a nation of people, right? That was the last time we were together. The northern kingdom was gone first, and then we got pushed out of there by the Romans last. So that was the beginning of their falling away, desertion of the land. But during that desertion of the land, we still knew who we was as a people, and to it concerning the truth, the reality, right? We still knew who we was. So that was the beginning of us falling away after the three tribes, Judah, Benjamin, Levi, the so-called Africans, the so-called Jamaicans, and the so-called Haitians, was ran up out of that land by the Romans due to the judgment of the Heavenly Father and His Son. Right? So I read this again. This is 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 3. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition. Now, during the now after we was kicked out of that land due to the judgment and the Romans pushing us out, which were the Edomites, right? We were scattered down into parts of Africa and parts of Europe, and in the parts of Africa and parts of Europe, right? Talking about Judah, Benjamin, Levi, right? The other tribes was already over. The other 10 tribes was already over here, right? And we knew who we were concerning the truth. We knew who we were during the so-called Dark Ages, during the Byzantine Empire, because you got Russian icons, right? We knew who we was. But during the time of the Renaissance, we still knew who we was, because the Renaissance was around the 14th century. And when you go into the 14th century, they say the 1300s. And the Renaissance was the rebirth of the Edomites coming back into power. And then you had iconoclasm within that. And within that iconoclasm, they started changing the image of who we were as a people and putting themselves, these Edomites, putting themselves in there as if they were the chosen people. Okay? Putting themselves in there as if they were the chosen people. But the Renaissance started in Italy, right? Let's see. When did the Renaissance start?
The Renaissance started in Italy during the 14th century, which is around the 1300s. It marked a cultural rebirth after the Middle Ages, with its peak occurring roughly between 1450 and 1550.
So, the peak of it was around 1450. You see? So, we, around that time, we still knew that we was Israelites, right? Even though we was kicked out of that land, we still knew the truth concerning us being Israelites and knowing about the Heavenly Father and His Son. We still knew the truth, right? Around the 1300s, we still knew. But speeding up into this time to where the bulk of us coming in slavery around the 1600s, because the first slaves come out of Spain, but the bulk of them start coming around the 1600s, 1620, up in there. Being in this land, Babylon, we lost everything. We lost the land, our nationality, everything. We lost everything. We were basically lost the complete truth, lost the complete reality of who we were and who the Heavenly Father and Son was. You know, who they are as our power. So we lost that completely. When we came to the Americas and were put in slavery up under these Edomites from the northern kingdom to the southern kingdom, we all were put in slavery up under the Edomites. We lost completely who the Heavenly Father and Son is and who we are as a nation of people. So we lost the truth, the reality. Okay? We lost the reality of these scriptures. We lost the reality of our power. We lost the name. We didn't know who we was. And we were bowing down to idols. So there was a complete forsaking of the Heavenly Father and His Son, right? So that had to happen. So Paul is letting you know here in 2 Thessalonians that had to happen, that we was going to completely forsake concerning the land and our nationality and not even know who the Heavenly Father and His Son was anymore. We was going to forsake all that. So there was going to be a falling away. So this is 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, right? Verse 3. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition. So this man was going to have to be revealed. But we, the Negro Latinos and Native Americans, was going to have to wake up. And that man was going to have to be revealed, who Paul is talking about right here. The son of perdition. Right? And it says, who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called God, or that is worship, so that he as God sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God. So what was going to have to happen was that we was going to have to fall away, basically, lose our land, lose who we were, forsake the Heavenly Father and His Son, and this son of perdition was going to have to be raised up, right, in the temple and sit as if he is the power, right? He was going to have to be raised up and sit in the seat as if he is the power. So that was going to have to be put, so the son of perdition, which is a nation of people, was going to have to be put in that land, in our land, and they were going to have to change all the images and the movies, everything, to deceive the people so they wouldn't know the truth, right? That was going to have to take place. So Caesar Borgia, who this guy is right here, was going to have to be erected. Let me see if I can find it. Where that devil at? Okay? This guy, Caesar Borgia, was going to have to be erected all over the earth, right? And the icons, right, of the top nation, right, the top heathen, Esau, Edom, the icons, changing the images of who we were, was going to have to be put all in the biblical text and put up all over as if they, right, were the chosen people. Okay? And this is iconoclasm. Okay? It says iconoclasm, the destruction of religious icons and other images or monuments for religious or political motives. All right? And this is an Orthodox monk, right, drawing their images, putting their spirits in the earth, their vibration in the earth, and covering up the images of us, knowing who we are as a people. So that was going to have to take place. So the son of perdition was going to have to be raised up and put in the temple, right, and sit there as if he or them as a nation be considered the powers on earth and be worshipped as if they were the people of the chosen of the Heavenly Father and Son, which the scriptures talk about. Okay? Which the scriptures talk about. So I'll read this again. It says, this is 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 3. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition. And that man of sin being revealed and the son of perdition is the so-called white man, Esau, Edom. They not Caucasian, they not European, they not white, they not none of that. The son of perdition is talking right here, is talking about Esau, Edom, the Edomites, the so-called white people you know today, okay? It's talking about them as a nation. They was going to have to be raised up in the earth and sit on the over there in Jerusalem, right, in that land, right? And they was going to have to be raised up in the earth and spread throughout the earth as if they were the chosen people, right? Before Yahweh shall come back. So this is what Paul is saying right here. That was going to have to take place. It says, read it again, 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 3. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition. Verse 4, who opposeth and exalted himself above all that is called God, or that is worship, so that he as God sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God. So they were going to have to be in that land, and they were going to have to paint the pictures throughout the books, right, the biblical books, as they are. The Edomites were going to have to do that, as if they are the chosen people, and they were going to have to be in that land over there in Jerusalem and settle in there as if they were the chosen people and that land belonged to them, right? So all that was going to have to take place, right? Verse 4, and who opposeth and exalted himself above all that is called God, right? Matter of fact, let me look that up in a different translation, see what we can get out of that, right? Second Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 4. I don't know what it's gonna say, so I want to see what it's gonna say, right? The Second Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 4, the New International Version. He will oppose and will exalt himself over everything that is called God or is worship, so that he sits himself up in God's temple, proclaiming himself to be God. So that's what them Edomites was gonna have to do. They was gonna have to be in that land and claim that they were the chosen people, right? Over there in Jerusalem. The New Living Translation. He exalted himself and defied everything that people call God and every object of worship. He will even sit in the temple of God, claiming that he himself is God. And that's what these Edomites do, okay? That's what these Edomites do as a nation of people, right? Starting with them so-called Jews, Amalek, the tribe of Amalek, right? Because that's the head tribe of Esau. And that's the way they project themselves in the earth, as if they the chosen people and they are gods on earth, right? And we should bow down and worship them, okay? This the Amplified Bible. Who opposeth and exalted himself so proudly, right? So proudly, and let's see, so insolent, right? So proudly. Matter of fact, let me read that again. This is 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 4, the Amplified Bible. Who opposeth and exalted himself so proudly and so insolently. So that goes into rude and disrespectful. Above every so-called God or object of worship, so that he actually enters and takes his seat in the temple of God publicly, proclaiming that he himself is God. And that's the way these Edomites govern the earth, right? Starting with them so-called Jews, right? They are the power on this earth, on the left-hand side, being the wicked. So they was going to have to be raised up on the left-hand side to rule in the earth with deception, tricking the people concerning who the chosen people are, and who tricking the people, who the chosen people are, and the real attribute and the image of the Heavenly Father and Son, according to the Bible. They was going to have to deceive the people, right? Because he was going to be in that seat deceiving the people, saying that he is God. So he was going to have to be opposite, right? These Edomites were going to have to be opposite, right? So I got that. So I'm going to carry on. This is verse 5. Remember ye not that when I was yet with you, I told you these things. So Paul is saying, look, remember, I told you that those things was going to take place before Yahweh Shah come back, right? Those things was going to take place before Yahweh Shah come back. And what I'm finna do